I discovered my siblings were planning a surprise reunion through Mom's phone. Plot twist, I wasn't invited. When I showed up anyway with documents proving I was the only real child, rest of them were adopted, the surprise hit different than they'd planned. I, 31 male, am sitting in my childhood bedroom right now, staring at a box of documents that just destroyed my entire family, or maybe revealed that I never really had one to begin with. Last Thursday, I stopped by my mom's house to help her set up her new tablet. She's 68 and hopeless with technology, calls me every time she needs to make the Netflix work. While I was transferring her data from the old tablet, her messaging app was still open. A group chat notification popped up. Sibling reunion planning. No mom. My 3 siblings had a group chat. Without me. I shouldn't have looked, but come on. My brother Nolan, 36, sister Brianna, 34, and youngest sister Celia, 28, were planning a surprise reunion for Mom's 70th birthday in 2 years. Sweet, right? Except I was nowhere in this conversation. Scrolled up, they'd been planning for months, booking venues, discussing catering, arranging surprise video messages from extended family, hundreds of messages. My name came up exactly 3 times. Nolan, what about Trevor? What about him? Shouldn't we include him? Celia, Mom won't even notice if he's not there. She barely notices when he is there, lol. Agreed, keep it simple. I sat there, my mom humming in the kitchen, feeling like I'd been punched. Yeah, I've always been the odd one out. Different interests, different personality. While they're all extroverted social butterflies, I'm the introvert who'd rather read than party. But excluded entirely? From our mother's birthday? Celia added. Plus, he'll probably make it weird like he always does. True. Remember Dad's funeral? Brianna. OMG, don't remind me. So embarrassing. Dad's funeral, where I gave an actual heartfelt eulogy while they spent the whole time taking selfies for their grief posts. But sure, I made it weird. I screenshots everything, finished setting up Mom's tablet, and left. Spent the drive home trying to figure out why I was being excluded from a family event 2 years away. That's when something else hit me. They'd all referred to specific childhood memories in the chat. Vacations I wasn't on. Christmases that didn't match my memories. Inside jokes about the real kids. The real kids. That phrase kept bouncing around my head. I'd heard it before, usually brushed off as sibling teasing. But what if? No. That was crazy, right? Except now I couldn't stop thinking about it. How different I looked from them. They all had Mom's blue eyes, similar features. I have brown eyes, darker complexion. How they'd always been closer to each other. How there were barely any photos of me as a baby, but albums full of them. I needed answers. And I knew exactly where to look. Mom's house has an attic full of document boxes. Tax returns, medical records, all the important stuff she refuses to digitize. I went back Saturday morning when she was at her book club. Found my birth certificate easily. Then found Nolan's. Then Brianna's. Then Celia's. Different hospitals for all of them. Different counties even. But more interesting, adoption decrees dated a few months after each birth certificate. All 3 of them. Adopted. My hands were shaking as I kept digging. Found Mom and Dad's marriage certificate. Dated 2 years after Nolan was born. Found legal name change documents for all 3, matching the adoption dates. Found an old letter from an adoption attorney congratulating them on completing your family. Then I found the photo album labeled Before Trevor. Pictures of Mom and Dad with 3 young kids, all taken before I was born. They'd already completed their family. I was the accident that came later. The biological child they never planned for. Everything clicked. The inside jokes, the closer bonds, the real kids comments. They'd grown up together before I even existed. I was the outsider in my own family, literally. I took photos of everything, spent the rest of the weekend processing. Come Monday, I made a decision. If they wanted their real kids reunion without the biological inconvenience, fine. But I wasn't going quietly. I had 2 years to plan my own surprise. Update 1 kept my mouth shut for 6 months. Hardest thing I've ever done. Watched my siblings continue planning their exclusive reunion in their group chat. Yeah, I cloned Mom's tablet and get all her messages now. Judge me if you want. The entitlement got worse. They started a separate fund for Mom's special gift. Excluded me from contributing. Planned a family photo session, scheduled it for a weekend they knew I'd be at a work conference, even created a memory book with submissions from all the kids who were there from the beginning. But I kept quiet, kept planning, started with genealogy research. DNA test confirmed what I'd suspected. I'm the only biological child. Mom's side matched, dad's side matched. My siblings, no biological connection to our parents at all. Did some digging into their biological families, found some interesting stuff. Nolan's bio mom lives 3 hours away, has been looking for him for years, posted every year on his birthday. Brianna's bio family? Wealthy, like stupid wealthy. Her bio grandfather died 5 years ago, left trusts for all his grandchildren, including the granddaughter he never met. Celia's bio parents were teenagers when they had her. They're married now with 3 kids who don't know they have an older sister. I wasn't planning to use any of this. Until last month. Mom had a minor heart episode. Nothing serious, but enough to land her in the hospital overnight. I was there within an hour. Stayed all night. My siblings? Brianna was at a wine tasting she couldn't miss. Nolan had his kid's soccer game. Celia was getting her nails done and would try to stop by later. They never showed, but they sure had opinions about her care. Created a new group chat, with me this time, to discuss Mom's treatment plan. Suddenly, they were all medical experts. Brianna wanted to move Mom to a fancier hospital, further from me, closer to her. Nolan thought we should look into care facilities. Celia started asking about power of attorney. Mom's been living independently just fine. One minor episode and they're ready to ship her off. I lost it. Where were you when she was scared and alone at 2 a.m.? Where were you when she needed someone to hold her hand during the EKG? Some of us have lives, Trevor. We can't all be mama's boys with no responsibilities. Responsibilities like wine tasting? Don't be dramatic. We're trying to plan what's best for Mom, without consulting her or her primary emergency contact. Look, we all know you're weirdly attached to Mom, but the 3 of us have discussed it, and me. The 3 of you. The real kids, right? Silence in the chat. Then Brianna. What's that supposed to mean? Me. Nothing. Just interesting how it's always the 3 of you making decisions for a woman who only gave birth to one of you. Left the chat after that. Phone blew up immediately. Didn't answer, had other plans to finalize. See, their reunion was scheduled for next month. They'd moved it up because of Mom's health scare. Wanted to celebrate while they still could. The venue was booked, caterer paid, family flying in. What they didn't know? I'd been in contact with the venue. Explained the situation. Showed them the screenshots of the original chat, the exclusion, the cruel comments. The event coordinator was horrified, especially when I mentioned I was the only biological child being excluded from his own mother's birthday. She offered to cancel their booking. I said no. Had a better idea. I booked the adjoining ballroom. Same date, same time. Then I sent out my own invitations. Update 2. Last Saturday was the big day. The surprise reunion my siblings had been planning for months. They'd told Mom they were taking her to a nice lunch for her birthday. Meanwhile, 50+ relatives were gathering at the venue. I watched from the parking lot as family members arrived. Aunts, uncles, cousins, some I hadn't seen in years. All there for the real kids' party. My siblings arrived with Mom at 2 p.m. sharp. I followed them in, keeping my distance, watched them lead her to the decorated ballroom. Heard the surprise, saw her shock, then joy. They'd done a good job. Photos everywhere, flowers, a beautiful cake. I waited 20 minutes. Let them get comfortable. Let the speeches start. Brianna was up first, talking about the unbreakable bond between a mother and her children. That's when I walked in. The side door, not the main entrance. Casual clothes instead of the formal wear everyone else had on. Heads turned. Nolan's face went red. Celia whispered something to Brianna. Sorry I'm late, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Must have lost my invitation. Mom looked confused. Trevor, I thought. Brianna said you were traveling. No, Mom. I'm right here. Always have been. Brianna tried to recover. Well, now that you're here, grab a seat and... Actually, I interrupted. I have something for Mom too. It's in the next room. Mind if I steal her for a second? Before anyone could object, I offered Mom my arm. She took it. Still confused but trusting. We walked through the connecting doors to my ballroom. The lights came on. A single table in the center. On it, A photo album and a small cake, just the two of us. Trevor, what is this? Sit down, Mom, there's something you need to see. I opened the album. The first page, her and Dad's wedding photo. The next, their honeymoon. Then pregnancy photos I'd found in the attic. Her pregnant with me, hospital photos after my birth. Just her, Dad, and baby me. I don't understand, she said. Keep going. The next section, the adoption papers, all three of them. Nolan's, Brianna's, Celia's. Her hand started shaking. You knew, I said quietly. But did you know they knew? The last section, screenshots of their group chat, their cruel comments, their exclusion, their real kids' jokes. 2 years worth of planning a party without me. Mom's eyes filled with tears. They said you couldn't make it, said you were too busy. I've never been too busy for you, Mom, even when they were. Remember your hospital stay last month? Remember who was there? She was crying now. I heard commotion from the other room, raised voices. They'd realized we were gone too long. Trevor, I never meant. You were our miracle. After 3 adoptions, we thought we couldn't have children. Then you came along, our only biological child. I loved you all the same. I swear I did. I know you did, Mom. But they didn't love me the same. Nolan burst through the doors. What the hell are you doing? Behind him, Brianna and Celia. Then the relatives, crowding in to see what was happening. Just showing Mom some family photos, I said calmly. Funny how I'm only in the ones after I was born. Almost like you 3 had a whole life before I existed. Brianna's face was purple. This is inappropriate. You're ruining Mom's party. The party I wasn't invited to? That party? Aunt Helen gasped. You weren't invited? But you're her son. Her only son, actually, I said. Only biological child. The other 3 are adopted. Not that there's anything wrong with that, unless you use it to exclude the actual blood relative from family events. The room exploded. Relatives demanding explanations. My siblings trying to deny, then deflect, then attack. Mom sitting at the table staring at the evidence of their cruelty. But I wasn't done. By the way, I announced, since we're talking about biological families, Nolan, your birth mother, has been looking for you. Brianna, you have an inheritance waiting from your bio-grandfather. Celia, your birth parents got married and have always wondered what happened to their firstborn. Dead silence. How? Celia's voice was barely a whisper. Public records, DNA databases. It's amazing what you can find when you have time. 2 years of planning time specifically. Nolan stepped forward, fists clenched. You had no right to what? Research public information? Tell the truth? Include myself in my own mother's birthday celebration? You're destroying this family. Brianna shrieked. No, Mom spoke up, voice stronger now. You 3 did that, when you decided my biological son wasn't good enough for your real kids club. She stood up, faced the crowd of relatives. I adopted 3 beautiful children, loved them as my own. Then I had Trevor, my miracle baby, and apparently his siblings have spent his entire life punishing him for it. Mom, that's not. Celia started. I've seen the messages, Celia, all of them. Mom's voice was ice. Planning parties without him, mocking him, calling yourselves the real kids. Well, congratulations. You want to be a family without Trevor? You can be a family without me too. She took my arm again. We're leaving. Trevor and I are going to have a real celebration. The rest of you, enjoy your party. We walked out together, leaving chaos behind us. My siblings calling after us, relatives demanding answers, the perfect party in ruins. In the car, Mom looked at me. How long have you known? 6 months. And you waited until now to tell me? I wanted to be wrong, wanted to believe they'd eventually include me. But they made their choice. Today just made it visible to everyone. She squeezed my hand. I'm so sorry, Trevor, for all of it, for not seeing it sooner. You loved us all, Mom. It's not your fault they couldn't do the same. We spent the rest of her birthday at her favorite restaurant, just the 2 of us, like it had been at the beginning, before the real kids came along. She laughed more than I'd seen in years, but the aftermath was just beginning. Final update. The family explosion was nuclear. Within hours of the reunion disaster, my phone was blowing up. Relatives who'd been at the party, demanding details. Others who'd heard secondhand, wanting to know if it was true. I let them all go to voicemail. My siblings, though? They weren't satisfied with calls. Nolan showed up at my apartment Sunday morning, pounded on the door until my neighbor threatened to call the cops. Open up, Trevor. We need to talk. I opened the door but didn't let him in. Talk about what? How you've excluded me my whole life? Or how you tried to steal my mother's birthday? You vindictive little. You had no right to contact our birth families. I didn't contact anyone. Just mentioned publicly available information. What you do with it is your business. His face was red. My wife is freaking out. She thinks I've been lying to her our whole marriage. Haven't you? Or did she know you were adopted and actively excluding your only actual brother from family events? He tried to push past me. I stood firm. Go home, Nolan. Deal with your own family. You know, the real one you chose over me. Brianna took a different approach. Showed up at my work Monday. Sat in the lobby until security called me down. We need to discuss, Mom, she said, fake sweet voice on full display. What about her? She's not returning our calls. This is elder abuse, Trevor, isolating her from her children. I laughed. Actually laughed. She's not isolated, she just doesn't want to talk to you. There's a difference. We're her children. Adopted children who called her biological son weird and embarrassing, who planned a major party without him, who tried to put her in a home after one minor health scare. That's not, we were concerned. You were at a wine tasting. Her mask slipped. You've poisoned her against us when she comes to her senses. She's already come to her senses, 68 years late, but better than never. Security escorted her out when she started yelling about lawsuits. Celia was the smartest. She went digital, started a family group chat with all the relatives, painting herself as the victim. How I'd ambushed them at a celebration of love. How I'd cruelly revealed private information. How I was manipulating our poor, confused mother. I stayed out of it for 3 days. Let her spin her narrative. Then I joined the chat and dropped the full screenshot folder. 2 years of messages, every cruel comment, every exclusion, every real kid's joke. The relatives went quiet. Then the sides formed. Some thought I'd gone too far. Others were appalled at my siblings' behavior. A few tried to play peacemaker. But the real drama came from an unexpected source. Brianna's bio family reached out to her. The wealthy ones. Turns out that inheritance I'd mentioned? It was real. 500K sitting in a trust, waiting for her to claim it. All she had to do was prove she was their biological relative. Suddenly, being adopted wasn't such a shameful secret anymore. Brianna started posting about her journey of self-discovery and embracing all parts of her identity. The same woman who'd spent decades calling herself a real daughter was now proud of her adoption story. The catch? Her bio-grandfather's will had a morality clause. Any grandchild displaying conduct unbecoming of the family name could be disinherited by trustee vote. Guess what screenshots made their way to the trustees? Nolan's situation imploded differently. His bio-mom had been searching for him, yes. But she was also dying. Terminal cancer, months left. She'd been desperate to meet her son before the end. His wife pushed him to reach out. He refused, too proud to admit he'd been wrong about adoption being shameful. By the time his wife convinced him, it was too late. His bio-mom passed away last week. The obituary mentioned her lost son she never got to meet. The guilt is eating him alive. Good. Celia? She made contact with her bio-parents. Turns out they're lovely people who've always wondered about her. They welcomed her with open arms. Want to introduce her to her biological siblings. Plot twist, they're everything Celia pretends to be. Successful, cultured, actually sophisticated instead of fake bougie. And they immediately saw through her act. Her bio-mom messaged me privately, found me through DNA match, thanking me for revealing her true colors before they got too invested. As for Mom, she's thriving. Sold the big house she doesn't need anymore, got a nice condo closer to me. We have dinner twice a week. She's in therapy, processing the decades of manipulation she didn't see. The 3 adoptees still try to contact her. Send flying monkeys, friends, relatives, their kids. She stayed strong, told them all the same thing. When you're ready to apologize to Trevor and mean it, we can talk. They haven't apologized. Don't think they will. They're too busy dealing with the consequences of their own actions. Brianna lost the inheritance. Trustees voted unanimously that bullying and excluding family members was conduct unbecoming. She's now trying to sue me for defamation. Good luck with that. Truth is an absolute defense. Nolan's marriage is hanging by a thread. His wife can't understand how he could be so cruel about adoption when he was adopted himself. or how he could ignore his dying bio mom out of pride. Celia's still pretending everything's fine on social media. But I heard through the grapevine she's been cut off from her bio family's holiday celebrations. Turns out they have low tolerance for fake people. The extended family is split, but mostly Team Trevor now. Amazing how screenshots of cruel messages change perspectives. The reunion they'd all flown in for became the family gossip event of the decade. Me? I'm at peace. For the first time in my life, I'm not the outsider looking in. I'm not begging for scraps of inclusion from people who see me as less than. I'm just a son spending time with his mom, building the relationship we should have had all along. Were my methods harsh? Maybe, but I spent 31 years being excluded, mocked, and marginalized by people who thought being adopted made them more real than the biological child. I gave them 6 months to include me after I found out. They doubled down instead. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate schemes or legal battles. Sometimes it's just shining a light on the truth and letting people face who they really are. My siblings wanted a family without me. They got it, just not the way they planned.